Hello everyone and welcome to the final round of the Taupo Nui-a-Tia Disc Golf Classic from the 23rd to the 25th of April 2022. I'm Sean from Disc Golf Guesgen. Here with me today is Haydn from Disc Shop, the tournament director and course designer for the Classic.
Thank you. Kia ora koutou katoa. Welcome to this amazing footage thanks to T-Box Media. We're really excited to bring you really quality footage of this event. We wanted to go out over and above. We wanted to do something that New Zealand hadn't seen before. 164 players, over 3 days, 2 courses. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Welcome everyone. We are now moving over from Spa Park to the Taupo Golf Club.
Literally across the road.
Pretty good.
Gorgeous. There you see in the background the mighty Mount Tauhara. You'll see it a few times around the courses we go around. Towers over Lake Taupo. Gorgeous. Let's go.
As you can see in the drone footage, Hayden, it's quite a bit less windy in the drones than it is when we experienced on the weekend.
Decidedly less. Wow. So as Sean mentioned, the course was fairly windy for everyone throughout the weekend. Played pretty tough. It's always going to be a tough course. As a course designer, I did want it to be a challenge for everyone in every division, but we did have 3 tee pads set out on every hole. So we had turf brought in from the local Taupo Disc Golf Club crew, managed to get 3 tee pads out for every single hole. And of course it's a temporary course just for the weekend. A big thanks to the Taupo Golf Club for letting us take over, basically. It was awesome. Pretty
awesome how much space they gave us, which is wonderful. Just doing some player profiles now. You'll have just seen Mikey Yu go past your screen, and here's Connagh McKinstry.
Out of the Taranaki. Willie Te Ratana from Christchurch, working his way up the scene over the last few years.
And finally rounding out the card, the new addition to the card today is Francis Orange.
Yeah, after a hot -3 round at Spa Park yesterday, so played really well out there.
Here's some very, very compact form. We'll definitely be checking that out.
Haere mai, which means welcome to hole number 1. Sponsored by Love Taupo, a huge sponsor of the event. Thank you so much. Par 3.
There's some early OB to miss, but you'd have to shank it pretty bad to to get in there.
Yeah. Little tester, 142 metres. There's a clear forehand line and a clear backhand line. The backhand line's a little bit restricted by some lumps in the grass, basically, but yeah.
There's Mikey showing off that forehand line. Very nice to see a forehand dominant player amongst some of the more backhand dominant players on the tour this year, so we're going to get a nice sort of contrast in this card.
That's right. So you see Connor taking the backhand line I mentioned, and see that little lump there? That can really mess with the disc, but he got over it
ground
nicely.
Play there.
One good thing about a golf club, of course, you get the big skip, which he played to that. Willie out of Christchurch, like I said, up and comer, been really working his way up the scene over the last 2 years.
Oh, we got hold of that.
Played very nicely.
That's a nice shot. Again, there you see that ground play, really nice.
And Francis. So what we haven't seen is, just before this, we actually gave the lead card a wee bit of a heart stopper or a heart pumper, and we had because it's Anzac Day here in New Zealand on that day, so they got a bit of trumpet action beforehand in front of the Love Taupo sign, and really got their hearts racing. They will be pretty nervous after that, I imagine.
Willie from outside the circle gives it a good bid. Francis also laying up there.
Pretty much the stats for the weekend show that this was kind of how the hole was played. Drive, try get close, have a wee dig. Good dig. Oof, well played.
Oh.
But as mentioned, if you saw some 1,000 rated players come up, you'd see them parking at 140 metres, so yeah, fair par 3. So make sure you subscribe to T-Box Media.
Absolutely. Connor with the closest look.
Just outside circle,
yeah,
maybe.
and with the best run there. So it looks like it'll just be a tidy up for our players after those attempts.
So as I said, temporary course for the weekend, but we did add the RPM necklaces into those disc mates, so they are pretty good catches. Not quite as good as the Helix, but certainly well up there in the championship level basket. Moving on to hole 2.
Mikey just left with his tap in. This hole did play, as Haydn mentioned, slightly over par for round 4, so playing 0.1 above. Most people bag in the par here. There wasn't a birdie on the day.
Like I said, the Taupo traps, and the reason that's called, if you'll see the 3 OBs basically, left hand side is a fake one we put in as a trap, the right hand side is a ball golf green, and behind is a bush, so you had to stay out of the traps, and then as you'll see in a second, it's right underneath the profile of Mount Taupo.
Now the MPOT is actually quite cool here in that it covers off the centre bush here. Really forced you to choose one way or the other, as Mikey chooses to go over. But yeah, that's sort of playing to the left of the red and blue tee pad.
That's right. Still elevated. There's quite a bit of elevation there, so the 145 metres is achievable for the big armours. The video doesn't quite show the gradient.
Speaking of big armours, I have seen this man throw some absolute bombs.
That's right. 2020 New Zealand champion at his home course at Inglewood Golf Club, so he's very attuned to playing the Skippy disc golf, and has the roller in his bag, has all sorts of shots that go well on the golf course. Nice shot. What's Willie got?
Oh, lovely shot there. It's going to fade back left. It's going to get some ground play. Oh, beautiful.
Lovely shot.
Closest of the bunch so far. Definitely one of the better drives I saw on the weekend as well. Francis as well. He's loving that sort of turnover, that force flex of the Anheuser.
Yeah, adds to his distance a wee bit by doing that.
Paid dividends for him as well in that hot round that he shot yesterday.
Have a look just to the left, you'll see some flags in the background there. That's the back OB. Get in.
Oh,
what a run.
What a shot.
So over the weekend we had 900 flags out throughout the golf club and Spa Park, so decent bit of work to go in to present the course and clarify those OBs.
Massive effort from the team. I saw all of you out there doing that. It was much appreciated. Oh, nice floaty bid there from Connor.
You have to float because if you go too long, of course, it's into that OB, so you have to be a bit tentative on the putt.
Can't be pushing it too hard. This hole played exactly average. It's a perfect par 3, if you will.
As we see here, 3s all round by the looks.
Yep. Clever. Some of the boys have the patented sun umbrella that I've seen a number of people use on the in the tournaments that I've been to. Chiefly among them being one Simon Feasy. Never seen without his.
That's right. Wouldn't have thought it was brutally hot out there. We're in April, so the temperature's just definitely cooling down. But
yeah,
the more heat you can get away, the better. The Hidden Valley, hole 3, mark with style minis. Again, if you see the 3 tee pads there, the black being the pro tees is what we're playing off, red being regular, so that's what everyone else on the New Zealand tour would play, and then the front tee was blue, which is what we had for the rec division. This is a great hole, 157 metres, par 3. Can't see the basket till you get over that little lip just there.
I really like the forehand line here. I think it makes the most sense because it's going to take most of that OB on the left side out of play, and you've just seen Mikey do exactly that. Little bit of a flex line, but it was always fighting back.
Yeah, like you say, there's a golf green on the right. You'll see the videographer standing there, and then off to the left there, pretty close to that. Oh, there we go. The red flags. You might need to see what happened there.
But see, that's the danger with the backhand, is that you're going to be bringing that into play, whereas the golf green is slightly uphill. So you've got to get quite unlucky, I think, to get up there unless you've got a massive arm.
So originally we had planned to have this one on a raised box, the basket on a raised box. We decided to use it for the hole-in-one competition, which ended up being a bit of a banger for the weekend, so it was definitely well spent putting it over there. But it also meant you couldn't see the basket, which was kind of a cool trick, I thought.
Willie playing a nice shot there, hanging it out a little bit more right, playing it a bit safer. And then unfortunately Francis looks to have made a similar mistake to Connagh, but he gets away with it just a little short, which is quite lucky.
Noticeably quite a bit of dew on the ground. So this was early on, this is 8:30 in the morning. We had to have the course, nice shot, course closed and available for the golfers.
Further. That kills you because the bottom of the pole isn't even in the...
So here we have the players just discussing the OB, and it was ruled that Connagh was out.
Yes, like you say, the danger of that. Get in.
Incredible recovery from that position. So he'll be taking a bogey, but hopefully won't be too unhappy with that.
Yeah, I think that's the way to play the hole, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't quite get over the edge, then just play up onto there and then have a wee go down at it.
Because the green does have a bit of room, so you're not too pinched if you can get to a spot like Mikey's where you can, give it a soft bid.
Good stuff. So the Taupo Golf Club we're at has 36 holes, so we only had to overtake 18 of them, so they were still able to function throughout the weekend, which meant that they were pretty happy with the result.
Yeah.
We managed to get unlucky there, Francis. They managed to keep their revenue, and we managed to get a pretty sweet tournament underway.
Yep.
On the long weekend, public holiday.
Had quite a few chats with some of the ladies up in the canteen, some of them even buying discs so they could go down to Spa Park afterwards to give it a crack. So great to see some new players onboarding as well.
And the general manager of the golf club, who at first when we did the sales pitch knew nothing about it, but by the end of the weekend him and his kids had discs in their hands. So win-win situation.
The card will be a little bit unhappy with that. Two bogeys, 2 pars. So.
Hole 4, island hopping, brought to you by ProSol, which are a landscape marking company, which we got our flags off. This is the hole, the infamous hole. It has 3 islands on it. One of them extends about 40 metres from the tee box, about there. You'll see the green marks where he's trying to throw into, and maybe just skipped out there. So that's the second island.
Definitely not now.
And then the basket is on the third island. So yeah, there was some criticism on this hole, but like I said before, if we had some top players coming, they'll be having shots at 3 here. So definitely getting pars. There was definitely pars over the weekend. There was also some big scores, but
there was only 1 par in round 4. The hole playing plus 1.33 over par. So, like you say, difficult hole, but I think a lot of people also were getting a bit risky, especially in round 4, as they were chasing down some scores.
And again, it was a hole that you had to think about. You put your driver away, take your fairway driver out, put it in. The island's 40 metres by 40 metres. It wasn't a tiny wee thing. On daylight today, these guys should have no excuse to miss that island, really. And then the next island ahead is it's 120 metres long. So you choose where you want to put your disc in. If you want to put it right there to save going out of bounds or have a run, that's the decision you have to make. And as we see by the scores throughout the weekend, there's a lot of people that couldn't quite get their heads around it. But the ones that did, it paid off.
That third island too is quite guarded as well, with a number of trees running down the right hand side, which we'll see when we get up there. But
so Francis has come to the front of that island and he's just playing into the second island there. So there's not much else you can do there. The third island's probably a wee bit out of reach, 130 metres maybe from the front edge of that. So take your medicine. So you'll see here, Mikey's actually in the second island, but I believe it's probably playing OB, but he touched the island and went out from that island, so he goes into that island, if that makes sense.
And this is what I was talking about with those trees there, is that you still have a line through, but if you're getting caught in that sort of brush there, you're going to have to scramble to get out.
Here we go, so roller on. So we had a 22-minute players meeting, and 4 minutes of it was discussing this hole. So there you go, that's how much we went over it. And yeah, the infamous hole 4, the island hopper. So Francis is on the second island.
Francis is third. And again, yeah, he's done well to get through there. He's going to have a low ceiling, but like I say, as long as you're making it through and you're not pinching yourself too much, you'll have a shot up to the green. So
the decision here for Willie is how far up that third island do you go. It starts on that tree to the right and goes way, way up around the basket. So, and there's a golf green to the right, but it's quite a way down.
And Willie gets
pretty unlucky.
Really unlucky here. And
yeah, that's unlucky.
Throws a turnover, hits an angle, cut rolls, OB.
But gets to go to progress to the island because it did touch that island.
True.
Right, so he is hidden behind there,
yeah. And what you can see there too, just to the right here of Francis, is there is actually another OB golf green. So you can't even push too far right because that then comes into play.
What a shot.
And one of the hidden dangers of this hole, as if it wasn't hard enough already, and one of the things that Mikey just experienced there was that there were a ton of berries on the ground, and they are the stickiest berries I've ever encountered.
Yes, of course.
Took me maybe like 4 or 5 holes after this to try and get rid of them. Oh, Willie will be a little bit disappointed with that.
So 4 could have been called the Mindbender. Really does mess with your head a little bit. You think that you haven't played so well on the hole, and you might get your head down. But everyone's suffering the same fate, so you really just have to shake it off.
Great part there from Connagh. Again, bogey's coming up on the screen, but given how the whole MPO card scored this over the weekend, he can't be unhappy with that result.
Yeah, and if you look at the MA1s who were also off the black pro tees as well, they had some pretty windy conditions on the first day as well, so it was a tough hole. We all need tough holes, mate. It's not designed to be easy.
Oh, catching the left chains there and just skipping past. Unlucky for Mikey.
Wondering why. What have we got there? He might have just skipped out of bounds.
May have done. It does come up very, very quickly behind the basket there from that angle.
So you'll see the green flag. So green flags on the weekend were safe zones on islands. Yellow flags were hazards. So you played from the hazard. You played inside it. Red were OB and blue was water. So just to differentiate a little bit for everybody. I think he's safe. No, he looks safe there.
Yeah. It's a tough putt.
Yeah, I think the early hole might have got in his head a wee bit there. Gallery's starting to build a little bit too, I think, so probably a few people hanging around.
Yep.
This card was teed off half an hour after, and so people started to gather, and you'll see later on in the footage there was a pretty decent crowd formed at the end when people coming off the Spa Park and lots of people coming from into town. We had some pretty good advertising through More FM and local papers and stuff, so they were, it built up pretty nicely.
Pretty awesome to see the support coming out as well. Always nice for lead card to have that gallery.
Hole 5, the squeeze, par 3, 125 metres. On paper, it looks pretty easy, right? Yeah, on paper. What it doesn't show is as it gets closer to the end, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Left-hand side road, OB. Right-hand side cart path, OB. Again, a tough wee hole, 125 metres.
You'll see a lot of players follow this route, throwing a big hyzer out over the OB golf cart, and then finishing up here just shy of the pin.
Connagh, of course, sponsored by Discmania, one of the sponsors of the event. And here throws entirely Discmania, of course. Great shot.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's the danger.
A few nerves coming into that, I bet, because he probably can't see from where he is if he is or isn't OB.
Of course, sort of hidden away, but you can just see the top of the basket. So, yeah, it is tight down there though. Hence the name, the squeeze.
Oh, that's lovely.
Class shot. Class forehand. He's great to watch.
Claps from the gallery and even gets the pro roll.
A lot of local players. Mikey stayed with a few of them and hung out with them for most of the week, and yeah, just great comments all round. Class.
Hopefully Francis can bounce back here after that.
I think he got an 8
over on the last hole. Yeah.
Yeah, this time the young guys will show strength and this good experience, isn't it? League card, MPO.
Absolutely.
Finals at Taupo, biggest event.
He's still young and
history.
Like I've said, he's got fantastic form, so he's definitely going to be one to watch for the future.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Nice little chip up and in. Can't really get too aggressive there. Willie will be feeling the same thing. Yep.
There's the team from T-Box Media in the background there. Had 3 filmers out, didn't they? 3 and another. 3 and Sean and yourself, mate. Getting some great angles, and just make sure you subscribe to T-Box Media.
Absolutely. Oh, Connagh with a little bit more license to run there, gave it a good bid. Mikey closer, but in the same spot as both Francis and Willie in that.
And putting directly towards OB.
Yeah.
So the OB long is quite a way back behind the bush actually, but OB left is pretty much right there. So you had to be a little hesitant there.
Thankfully that sat down. This hole playing pretty close to par, only playing plus 0.33. So not hugely over. Most of the MPO card on round 4 carted the par here.
Again, I think if you see some of these top players coming, over 1,000 rated players, they'll be parking it every time, 125 metres. Admittedly, the hardest shot in the game, playing dead straight, but yeah, it's a mid-range for a lot of those top guys.
Yeah. Good to see Mikey taking his time there as well. You don't want to get complacent, because those are the sort of distances that can trip you up.
We've all been there, haven't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's leading the tournament. You want to predict that lead.
Exactly. So, hole number 6, par 4, 175 metres, no high road, and the reason for that is essentially we've kind of cut it out with OBs. You see it on the right hand side there. If you want to go for it, by all means, but it is hell of a risky and really not an option. The basket, if you see the tallest tree and pretty much in the middle of the screen there, the basket is directly below that and it's around a corner. There's a Mando on the left hand side that you need to go right of.
That is correct.
With the drop zone directly below it. So another thought, the reason for the Mando as well, if you look to the left there, it was big wide open space. Course designer, you know, I had to think about that and I had to say it's going to favour the big arms. If I just leave those big open spaces all the time, it's going to be a boring course. So tightened it up, force foot through the trees. And again, if you ask a lot of people, this is one of the coolest holes. And a couple of people had eagle runs, I think. I think there was a couple of eagles over the weekend. Don't quote me on that, but there was certainly some eagle runs, let's put it that way, once you get around there. So again, a thinking hole, as opposed to a park it up all the time hole, which we see a lot in Aotearoa. We see a lot of those kind of courses where, you know, people are shooting 14 downs, 15 downs in tournaments, and I wanted to almost the opposite of that. I wanted it to be, you know, 2 or 3 down would be the winner on the day, and I think we'll probably see that.
Absolutely. Both Mikey and Connagh showing you the line you want to run there. Unfortunately, Willie got a little caught up in that tree just to the right of the Mando. Didn't hyzer quite quickly enough for him.
So those white flags you can see are actually football golf. So they've infiltrated quite nicely on a lot of these, unlucky OB, on a lot of the golf courses, and yeah, we're working on them as well, so watch this space, people.
Francis trying the forehand line doesn't work out for him. It catches a little bit of luck there too with the forehand out in that the tree there didn't stop him. You can see how difficult Willie's lie is here. Taken all of his allotted time, as he should.
Yeah.
Given how difficult this shot is.
But not OB. So he's out. But now he is OB. Oh,
no.
Just how's that? Got away with it.
The tree gods are smiling on him today.
What do we got there? Good to see these guys play this hole, actually.
Mikey tried to get aggressive. Unfortunately, that didn't pay out either. Connagh with the best look of the bunch.
Yeah, I think Mikey had the right idea. I just don't think he quite got hold of it enough to get right round the corner.
Needed a little bit more height.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. If anything, a little bit too juiced.
Who puts their golf cart there? So this whole test you right to the very end. That OB is super close on their right hand side, so it's yeah, Inca thinker. That's the shot. What are the stats on this hole, mate?
So this hole played only slightly over par at plus 0.11.
Yeah.
So not bad. There were 3 birdies on the day. Can you tell me who they would have been?
Finney Wilson?
No.
Ooh,
I'll give you a hint. There's one person on our lead card that makes it.
surely it's this guy.
Bit of a giveaway.
Ashton Clark?
But phenomenal putt.
Lovely birdie.
Connagh McKinstry.
Ashton Clark.
Yep. Last one?
MPO or MO1?
I actually don't know. I think it's MPO.
You tell me, mate.
Anthony Rogers.
Anthony. Good stuff.
Apologies, Anthony. Nice part.
Considering
the danger that he was in the whole hole, I'm impressed.
Scramble, layup, decent putt.
Mikey with the bogey again. It's just that one mistake that sent him OB that cost him a par there.
It's been here before. The gap's definitely tightening up. I think it was 6 shots at the start, wasn't it? Connagh McKinstry's currently sitting on even. Mikey on 3 down.
Yep. There's a real battle on our hands now.
Hole 7, brought to you by Great Lake Taupo. The Taupo District Council has been a great support to us. This one was a last minute addition to the course. We had an alternative hole 7, which will come into the 27 hole course next year. Thanks to TD assistant Steve Lawson for this hole. Kind of said to me, it's time to let them off a little bit and have an easy one. Because the alternative hole 7 was a bit of a bugger as well, I'll be honest. Can't wait for people to see it next year. Park time, 102 metres, par 3. I was going to call it welcome relief. Bit of downtime, there's all sorts of cool names we came up with, but Steve, and it's, as you see, OB on the green there.
And so that's a very unfortunate break there for Willie. To hit that low ceiling and then skip onto there, it's going to be almost impossible to save the par.
Absolutely.
So looking for a bogey.
So the regular tee and the rec tee were almost exactly the same distance, but they were from a slightly easier tee location. So they had that tree just brought into the hole, into the drive. So just again, a little bit of extra thinking needs to go in there.
Flares and goes down into the gully, and then you have a low ceiling, not so special putt.
There you go, Mikey. Exactly that.
Pro tips from the pro himself.
Francis is going to show us that exact what Mikey was talking about. Hopefully, he doesn't skip.
Man is the picture of focus.
Absolute great form.
He's unfortunately sent that a little straight. Probably wanted to push that a little bit more left. And yeah, here we are with Willie. So obviously this is where he crossed onto the OB. And
funnily enough, that flag this morning when I did, in the morning when I did the check, was taken out, but a golfer snuck in at 7:30 before everyone teed off and put it back in.
He thought he was going to play that hole, but boy was he wrong.
didn't get the memo, did he? It's a great angle.
Long putt here from Willie. Oh,
Off the chains.
left side chains. Good bid.
Mikey for a birdie chance.
Now, Haydn, would you say...
Lovely
putt. Lovely putt. Would you say that this played is the easiest hole? Would you guess?
Absolutely. This one, yeah, or hole 15 for sure.
Interesting. There are a number of holes that played easier on round 4. Only 2 people carded a birdie here.
Wow.
One of them obviously being Mikey Yu, the other one shout out to Vincent Wilson.
Good stuff. To be fair, yeah, I'm surprised about that. It was made to be easy.
This played exactly par for the MPOs.
Probably a wee bit of nerves, I'd say. This tournament's been big. There's a lot of hype. There's been heaps of cool stuff happening. Like I said, there was a trumpet for them at the start of the round. You know, there's been all sorts of cool stuff happening. Biggest event in New Zealand. I think I probably mentioned it. I might mention even that again, mate, throughout the commentary. Yeah, lead card nerves. Simple as that.
And hey guys, if you are enjoying this coverage, make sure you subscribe to T-Box Media. They'll be covering heaps of the events that are coming up throughout the year, so you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to be able to catch them.
That's it. Hole 8, brace yourself. Part 5, 270 metres, OB everywhere. Brought to you by the Source Bulk Foods down there in Taupo. So this hole, again, another thinker, let's be honest. The basket is, if you can see it there in the distance, miles away. You would need some crazy decent glasses. It is a long, long way from there. OB left, golf green. That window looks substantially bigger on the video than it does when you're throwing.
Here comes a monster rip from Connagh.
What a crush.
Shot.
But there was a number of eagle attempts on this hole. Some of the big arms in MA1 were running the basket from sort of like 30 metres out, and
there was an eagle in round 4 for the MPO.
Was there? Well, I don't know. We maybe might see that right now. Stay tuned, folks.
This actually played under par at minus 0.11.
All right, I'm changing it next year. It's a par 4. Not having that.
Probably shouldn't be telling Haydn this.
Of course, like we said, all the holes had some signs with all the details on it, thanks to Signbiz. Signbiz do all around and nationwide, and they do pretty cool stuff. They printed off all of the signs for us, which was hundreds of signs. So it was amazing.
Now, Willie's elected to go quite far right here in an attempt to give him a little bit more open space to attack this.
So see the gap there, and you'll see some yellow flags all around it. There was basically a pathway width of gap to get through, otherwise it was a hazard.
Yeah.
So it plays as a hazard.
And now I followed this card around it, and we weren't quite sure whether Willie's initial drive was OB or not, but you can't see it from here, but he has made it to the second island, or through the gap, if you will.
Through the gap, yeah.
Magical.
Unfortunately, Francis wasn't as lucky.
So that plays, like I said, as a hazard. So he still has to, if it's stuck in the bushes, he still has to play from in there. Hence the yellow flags.
Mikey electing to go with his strength here, going forehand, and
beautiful,
absolutely
what a crush.
Crushing it.
Cheers, guys.
I mean,
gorgeous shot. Wow,
phenomenal.
So he is essentially, that's his second, so he is on for eagle. Definitely a par 4 next year. I might tuck the basket a bit further around, what do you reckon?
Oh god. I think I struggled to get here. I'm only playing rec. So.
Again, a tester of all types of shots. First one reasonably open, big bomb. The second one you have to be pretty calculated and get it. And it's a big shot, but you need to be pinpoint accuracy to get it across there.
Yeah. Francis, whilst going into the hazard, still actually has a line at this.
Got through.
Did very well.
Excellent.
Did very well to give himself a chance.
Great camera work from Marni, to be honest. Kept following it all the way through.
Yep.
The catch can Marni. Here's a little cart there.
Willie just pulling that one a little bit, unfortunately. You can see where he landed. So he kissed a tree on the way through and made it across.
Got a jump coming up. Step putt coming up. Oof, good bid for 3. You got to run him, don't you? Got to run the Eagles.
Kind of scaring the basket there. And Mikey with the best look of the bunch here. Again,
so that's not an eagle.
So close. So now that we've taken all the eagles out of the equations, I want to shout out Ashton Clark for his eagle on this hole.
Nice work. I believe there was a couple in the MA1 division as well who play off the same tees, and 1 or 2 on the blue, in the red tees.
Ooh.
And the MA, I think it was MA40 maybe. There was an eagle in there too, I believe. Might have been MA50.
Willie missing one on the edge of the circle there.
Yeah, I think Francis got his head down a wee bit, which is a shame. I hope he does bounce back from it.
Yeah,
He's a good wee player.
Yeah, nice putt there.
What
nice birdie there from Connor. It can be hard to get your mental back once you've, once you've suffered a few bogeys.
Yep, like I say, in any division, you can just keep winning, keep playing lead card on any division, work your way up before you get up to this level, because when you do get to this level, you need that mental strength.
Yeah, you want that experience going into
Absolutely.
it for sure. Mikey also bagging the birdie there, so the battle between those two continues.
Hole 9 brought to you by the Aotearoa Disc Art Collective, which, if you were tuned in on the Saturday night, raised $1,200.
Phenomenal auction that
gorgeous,
you ran there, Haydn.
Gorgeous artwork, so that was a great addition. Pit stop, the reason it's pit stop because there's a toilet right there. And it's a great hole. It's a backhand hole, but as you know, Mikey plays forehand. Par 3, 163 metres.
Around that.
Here's the basket right there.
He flexes that so well to get up there. A few people got caught in that that little bush to the left there, but it was very thick, so discs weren't going too far in there, which was quite good.
We're a little bit high. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was the plan to get the distance.
That turnover line is pretty ridiculous. It's a massive amount of distance on that. You got to remember that this is 163 meter par 3. This is testing everybody's ability here. Taking the sneaky line.
No OB on this hole. Actually, well, just the green there, of course, but other than that, no OB, so it's all free reign.
And then
nice wee shot.
Very nice forehand up shot.
Such a gorgeous time of the year. Autumn over here. Or if you're watching from the northern hemisphere, it's fall. Fall. I think Connor was probably playing to hit and drop there, I think, maybe.
I think he might have been. I've actually seen him throw the thumber at Nationals, and he does like to default to it on a tight shot.
Nice upshot there. Probably find the stats on this play a wee bit tricky too, right? Let's have a look.
Yep. Hole played plus 0.22
Not too bad.
over round 4, so not a huge amount. I think a lot of people, given the distance, would have been trying to put their first shot in a position, simple little chipper to get close and then tap in that par. I think only a few people would have been punished for either an errant shot or really trying to get aggressive. Great putt there, yeah.
Just outside circle. Oh, actually way outside circle by that angle. Again, probably could have been a par 4, but at the end of the day, get some of these big arms coming in, man. They're going to be putting that pretty close.
Yeah.
And having a wee run at it.
Oh, unlucky there from Francis. Again, sort of just summing up his round, unfortunately.
Yeah. Few too many red dots on there.
Mikey tapping in for his.
Tappity tap, mate. We're moving along. Actually, that's it for the front nine.
That is it for the front nine.
The front nine coverage. If you want to be first to know when the back nine drops, make sure you subscribe to T-Box Media.
Absolutely. And coming in off that front nine results, we've got Connor at even, Mikey at +1, Willie at +3, and Francis at +8.
Of course, that's the round total, not
That is.
the overall total.
That is correct.
See you on the flip side, brother.
Cheers.
Looking forward to it.
Sounds good.